September the 3rd. Where were you on September the 3rd? Where were you when you first heard the news? Concord has fallen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed with our very own eyes the most important event in the video game industry in decades. Today, September the 3rd, Sony has announced that its latest title, Concord, will be discontinued and servers will be shut down September the 6th. Mainstream media outlets defending Concord have destroyed their credibility and revealed a glaring flaw in the game industry. How can you trust a company who tells you the sky is not blue? We can no longer trust those major companies. The fall of Concord is not cause for celebration. We cannot afford to devolve into a culture that dances on the graves of those who tried and failed. But there is cause for celebration. To all my fellow gamers out there who let your voices be heard in comment sections and forums, I am proud of you. I beseech you, revel not in the failure of others. The road to a better tomorrow cannot be traveled by tearing each other down, but by helping each other up when we stumble. To the content creators out there who made strong the voice of your people, your fellow gamers, I am proud of you. To those with true journalistic integrity who researched and brought to light the unacceptable, grotesque behavior of those who would masquerade as our game developers, I am proud of you. Sony has become a tyrant, a dragon of wealth at all costs. All the gamers out there who stood their ground and let their voices be heard, who united from all around the world, they became a powerful spear. All the content creators out there who brought to light the truth of the situation as it unfolded day to day, they became the blade of the spear that pierced the dragon's heart. There is a philosophy that exists in the professional world, something I've learned working in industry, from watching, from listening to the world around me. People love nothing more than watching a tyrant fall. For years, talented, skilled, and deserving artists and developers have been discriminated against. Instead of game companies hiring people for their ability or qualifications, they hire based on the color of someone's skin, their sexual identity, and their political views. For years, the video game industry has bent further and further toward appeasing an extremist radicalized cult raised entirely in an isolated bubble of hyperreality on the internet. The game industry has bent further and further, being infested by people who do not care about making a good product, who do not understand what a good game is, and who do not care about what really matters. The gamers. Diversity, inclusivity, equity. I've said it before and I will say it again. Those things matter. They're important. But the people who are pushing those concepts into the public space lack the maturity, self-awareness, and understanding of social responsibility to do it correctly. These radicalized extremists are so focused on their own egos, they do not realize the damage they have caused to our culture. Never before in the past decades has there been a greater hatred, fear, and resentment towards minority groups which they think they are empowering. Instead, they are framing marginalized groups as villains and painting targets on their backs. And this has happened because of the incompetent implementation of supposed diversity in media. We cannot afford to go back to a time when hatred and fear was allowed to rule our hearts and minds. No more. To you radicalized extremists, receiving millions of dollars to produce products for stroking your own egos instead of serving the gamers, I say to you, no more. To you tyrants who fund this radicalized movement, who focus on pandering instead of creating something of value, I say to you, no more. To you developers who would dare to call my fellow gamers, my people, talentless freaks, I say to you, no more. Rejoice. Celebrate, my fellow gamers, for today you have made history. Today, we tear down a tyrant. Let this be a warning to all the AAA development studios and publishers out there. The balance of power has shifted. There is no amount of money you can pour into marketing to hide the flaws of a product created by the wrong people with the wrong intentions. The balance of power has shifted in a way that you cannot control. Your audience has a voice. They have power, and they are your equals. September the 3rd. Remember this. Let it be heard. All across the world, today is the day we took back the video game industry. To any developers or publishers out there who would dare to call my fellow gamers, my people, talentless freaks, do this at your own peril, because I will not stand idly by and let you demean my people. Lastly, to Sony, you have earned some respect by issuing full refunds to all the paying customers of Concord. This is the best course of action you could have taken. Were I to give you a review on your performance in this situation, I would say 7 out of 10. Good.